For many car companies, layoffs are a necessary evil. The fact that this is happening shows just how tough times are for these companies. It also means that we can't expect the car market to shine brightly again anytime soon. That's why Honda had to go through with these layoffs.
Online users have expressed regret over Honda's layoffs, with comments like, "The factory in Guangzhou offered excellent benefits, often paying double salaries each month. Working there for 3 years could enable one to afford a house and a car, and yet even they have started laying off employees." According to a Reuters report from Tokyo on December 2nd, a spokesperson for GAC Honda attributed the layoffs to a reduction in production, leading to the termination of dispatch contracts. Honda has stated they will provide financial compensation in accordance with the law and regulations and assist the affected employees in finding new jobs, giving priority to cooperating with those who were laid off. This round of layoff is the first significant reduction in staff by Honda Automobile since its joint venture with Guangzhou Automobile Company in 1998. GAC Honda, a mainstream joint venture automotive brand in China, has launched several popular models such as Honda Accord and Honda Fit, achieving sales of over 10 million units thanks to these models. The concept of lifetime employment is a norm in Japan, where employers typically avoid layoffs even in difficult times, following a long-established tradition in Japanese enterprises. Therefore, Honda's decision to significantly cut its workforce, breaking this convention, has raised questions. Firstly, it is believed that China's rapid transition to electrification has left traditional fuel car markets like Honda's increasingly behind. The hottest segment in China's car market today is new energy vehicles. In recent years, numerous automotive companies have invested heavily in developing new energy vehicles and establishing new brands. New energy vehicles have become the new favorite in the automotive industry, with sales continuously rising, giving the strong impression that they will soon replace fuel cars. In this segment, GAC Honda is still in the breakthrough stage. Meanwhile, the rise of China's pure electric vehicle market, a branch of new energy vehicles, has impacted Honda's traditional fuel car market. However, a review of car sales data for the first half of the year shows that despite the increasing sales of new energy vehicles, fuel cars remain the mainstay of the automotive market in terms of technological maturity, driving range, and lifespan. This is why economists believe that new energy vehicles have had hindered Honda's development in China, but this is just a superficial reason. The worrying state of China's economy and the extreme policies of the Chinese government prompting foreign enterprises to accelerate the departure are the root cause of Honda's dismissal of 900 contract workers. At the end of the China's strict zero COVID policy last year, there were widespread expectations of a robust recovery in the Chinese economy. Beijing even anticipated 2023 as the year of investment in China. However, the actual economic performance in China has been the opposite of expectations. Following moderate growth in the first quarter, China's major economic indicators showed a significant decline. With the real estate debt crisis worsening, numerous factories closing, enterprises going bankrupt, unemployment soaring, exports continue to decline, consumer spending weakening, and the government at all levels mired in debt crisis, unable to implement effective stimulus measures. Overall, the economy is showing clear deflationary characteristics. In the current economic context, GAC Honda, representing 30% of Honda's total sales, experienced a notable downturn. The company sold approximately 490,000 vehicles in the first 10 months of 2023, marking a significant decrease of nearly 18.5% compared to the same period last year. This trend suggests a diminishing appeal for Honda's growth in the Chinese market. It is noteworthy that this is the third consecutive year of sluggish sales for Honda in China. In November 2022, Honda's terminal sales in China were 741,800 units, with a 16.8% decrease in September and a 28.5% decrease in October compared to the same period last year. In 2021, GAC Honda sales experienced the first negative growth since 2013, with about 780,300 units sold. In summary, Honda's sales have been continuously declining for 2 years. Although some of these lost customers have switched to other car models, economists point out that the current macroeconomic environment in China has also led to a general decline in Chinese purchasing power, with consumers tightening their belts. On the other hand, scholars believe that Honda's layoffs are a warning signal of a potential withdrawal from China. China's deteriorating relations with developed countries have deepened Beijing's anxiety over national security. Chinese regulators have intensified control over domestic corporations' big data and heightened surveillance and scrutiny of foreign enterprises, even conducting surprise raids and arrests. In July this year, the CCP passed a new version of the anti-espionage law, extending anti-espionage tasks down to the community level, requiring residents to be highly vigilant towards foreigners and those frequently interacting with foreigners, and to report any suspicion. This economic and political climate has not only impoverished the Chinese people, but also negatively affected foreign businesses operating in China. According to official data from China, foreign direct investment in China in the second quarter amounted to 4.9 billion, an 87% decrease year on year, and the largest drop since comparable data was first published in 1998. This is said by many as similar to an end in foreign investment. The European Union Chamber of Commerce in China released a report in June stating that due to China's sluggish post-pandemic economic recovery and the broad implementation of measures such as the anti-espionage law, foreign companies are losing confidence in China, the world's second largest economy, and are relocating their investment and Asia headquarters out of the country. This includes companies like GAC Honda. The Sankei Shimbun reported that as early as August 2022, Japanese automaker Honda was rumored to be pursuing de-Chinification, reducing its dependence on the Chinese supply chain. Commentators have suggested that this move is a precursor to Honda's withdrawal from China. China, known as the world's factory, not only has a vast number of automotive parts suppliers, but is also a key consumer market. Companies set up operations in China due to lower labor costs and proximity to customers. However, the COVID-19 outbreak and resulting lockdowns in Wuhan disrupted Honda's supply chain and production, forcing the company to consider restructuring its supply chain. This move is also a response to geopolitical risks, such as the escalating tension between the US and China and the situation in Taiwan. In China, Honda plans to rebuild its local supply chain and continue vehicle production. Honda has two joint ventures in China, Dongfeng Honda Automobile and GAC Honda Automobile. In the fiscal year of 2021, out of the Honda's global production of 4.14 million units, 1.62 million units were produced in China, about twice the level of North America. However, insiders revealed that in August last year, department heads had already assessed measures for restructuring the supply chain based on issues in China, and a meeting was held in September. Discussions including shifting the production of parts currently made in China to Southeast Asia, India, and North America. Honda will reconstruct its parts supply system within China and continue its local operations. Given Honda's series of actions, observers speculate that after choosing de-Chinification, Honda may soon aggressively enter the market of the aforementioned countries, with the United States possibly being a key focus for development. China and the US are considered one of Honda's largest markets, while Honda's development in China has entered a winter with scenario is different in the US. According to data from automotive industry portal MarkLines, from January to November 2023, Honda's sales in the US reached 1.18 million units, a 33% increase from 889,000 units in the same period last year. Indeed, around October 2022, 2 months after Honda's management meeting to discuss issues in China, Honda and South Korean battery giant LG Energy Solution announced plans to establish a joint venture in Ohio, USA, with an investment of $4.4 billion to build an automotive battery factory. Construction is planned to begin in early 2023, with completion by the end of 2024, and mass production of lithium-ion batteries with an annual capacity of about 40 gigawatt-hour starting by the end of 2025. Honda also plans to start producing and selling electric vehicles in North America by 2026. Batteries produced by the new joint venture will supply Honda's factories to produce electric vehicles for sale in North America. Additionally, Honda will independently invest $700 million to retrofit several existing factories for electric vehicle production. Other media have pointed out that LG Energy Solution already has 2 factories in the US, one in Michigan operated independently by LG and another in Ohio jointly operated with General Motors. According to plans, besides the joint ventures with Honda and Ohio, LG Energy Solutions intends to establish 2 more joint ventures with General Motors in Tennessee and Michigan, and another joint venture with Stellantis in Canada. Industry insiders note that LG Energy Solutions and Honda's increased focus in North America may be related to the Inflation Reduction Act signed by the US President Biden this year. The act stipulates that starting next year, the US government will provide subsidies of $4,000 or $7,500 to electric vehicle consumers. The subsidies are subject to three prerequisites: 50% of localization of battery components, 100% domestic production of electric vehicles, and 40% of critical battery mineral materials to be produced or processed in the US or allied countries. In relation to Japanese companies moving out of China, Wang Xiaowen, an expert at Taiwan National Defense and Security Research Institute, said the Japanese government's policy is accelerating the withdrawal of Japanese manufacturers from China. She further explained that while major Japanese companies still have many investments in China, relocating an industrial chain is not as simple as moving a house overnight. However, for Japanese businessmen, sensing signs of insecurity and moving away from risky areas is an instinct that has allowed them to do business around the world. Wang Xiaowen also analyzes that with the reduction of hostages held by the CCP among Japanese enterprises, the Japanese government may no longer be as accommodating towards the CCP. While maintaining friendly diplomatic relations on the surface, Japan's role as a second-in-command in East Asia or the Indo-Pacific region is assisting the United States seems imminent. Apart from Honda, other joint ventures in China have also faced challenges this year. Data from Japanese research firm Teikoku Databank shows that from 2020 to 2022, the number of Japanese enterprises in China decreased from 13,600 to 12,700, the lowest in a decade, representing a 7% decline compared to pre-pandemic levels. Since the last survey in February 2020, over 2,100 companies have left China or are unaccounted for, and 116 have gone bankrupt or ceased operations. Almost simultaneously, Toyota, Japan's largest automaker and the world's top-selling car manufacturer, announced on December 2nd that it would halt some production at its Tianjin factory in China. In July, media reports stated that Toyota's joint venture, GAC Toyota, laid off about 1,000 people. Another joint venture, FAW Toyota, has also partially halted production. Toyota's sales in China showed their first decline in 10 years last year, with a further drop in the first quarter of this year.
I was working during the day, and in the evening, I received a message about being laid off. A few days ago, GAC Toyota, a Fortune 500 company, announced layoffs, even though it's considered a pillar industry in Guangzhou. Suddenly, more than 1,000 or 2,000 employees are unemployed. My classmate said the layoffs came so suddenly, there was no preparation, and now the pressure is huge. The monthly mortgage payment is 7,000 yuan, plus children's education, living expenses, and other costs amount to more than 10,000. Although there's some compensation, I don't know how long it will last.
On September 27, 2023, Japanese media Nikkei reported that Mitsubishi Motors had decided to stop car production in China, and at the time, Mitsubishi was negotiating with the Chinese partner GAC Group. Bloomberg later confirmed that Mitsubishi was discussing future plans with shareholders of its joint venture and has not yet made any decisions. In October, Mitsubishi announced an investment of up to 200 million euros, approximately $214 million, in Renault's new electric vehicle division to strengthen its foothold in Europe and other markets. In actual fact, Mitsubishi's withdrawal was not unexpected. Earlier this year, Mitsubishi Motors indicated that it would indefinitely halt its business in China and begin layoffs. On July 12, a document published by Mitsubishi on Chinese social media stated that the automotive market was rapidly shifting towards electric vehicles, and the decline in the company's sales exceeded expectations. Bloomberg analyzed that Mitsubishi's struggles in China reflect a common dilemma for Japanese automakers: slow progress in electric vehicles development and a continuous loss of market share to new competitors like Tesla and BYD. Over the past few years, Japanese cars have continuously expanded their market share in China, becoming the most profitable car company thanks to their lean production models. However, times have changed, and these once formidable Japanese brands have had to make concessions to reality. Nevertheless, Li Shihui, the director of the Taiwan-Japan Academy and a professor at the College of International Affairs of National Chenchi University, reminds us that despite the ongoing tensions in US-China relations, Japan's economic relationship with China remains close. Li Shihui believes that the current direction Japan and Europe are taking is possibly long-term decoupling with short-term risk avoidance. He further explains that risk avoidance means gradually distancing Japan's supply chain from the China in area considered sensitive and crucial, including some lower-level consumer supply chains. Complete separation still requires time.